So as I've said before, this is the worthlessness of the moderation on this particular channel is wow. It's you know. Anyways, I've said it before. There was one guy when Logan was on her first live, and I've pointed it out in my videos that he asked some pretty good questions here and there. He got them in here and there. He's really in the back. He's quiet. He's not. They're all yapping, and he's kind of like once in a while he's bringing something in there. And now apparently he's coming on. Now he's part of that team, and as I've said, he actually put some thought into these things, from what I've seen and what I have heard. So let's get right to it. He's coming on now. Cheryl is still on. And I already know about one question, but let's see.
All that they care about is where are the children, and that is your common goal, and that's what all of you share.
Shut up. You don't know what they're sharing.
Hey, Jeremy, how are you?
Yeah, hi, Jeremy. Thank you for coming on. My goodness.
How are you?
Hi, Susan. Sorry, I was just typing up a couple things there. Cheryl, first and foremost, I want to emphasize my deepest condolences for the situation that Malehya is going through right now. I can't even imagine as a father what she's doing and what she's going.
So mind you, Malehya's friend, in my opinion, is deceptive as well, but she was not as deceptive in the statements where she revealed. Well, actually, she's not deceptive. She's practicing avoidance. She's avoiding. I mean, she is. Her intentions are there to protect Malehya, right? But she is still giving us. You can tell. You have to differentiate between the statements. So somebody has a certain intention of protecting her friend, but then questions come up about the blanket, the dog, and I still don't know how many dogs are there on the property, but there's definitely one that's very verbose. And her statements about the blanket and the dog, they were credible. They were reliable statements. But of course, she is straight up in terms of saying, I'm not going to talk about Malehya, right? She doesn't. And so she doesn't even put herself into the position where she has to lie. She's just pulling a Chris foot here, right? Where she just goes straight up like, okay, I'm not going to talk about it, but let's see if he can get through her. And of course, he says, my condolences. That's a good way to start because he puts her on the spot into a position where he, at least to the outside, assumes to feel badly for her, what she must be going through. But of course, we don't know what Cheryl actually knows. So, yeah, let's see what's going on.
Thank you.
Huh. A very delayed thank you because she's like, I guess thank you, right? Because the kids, yeah. Oh, yeah, the kids.
I don't want to ask.
So it's possible that she knows exactly what happened to the kids too. Or she knows something, or she knows parts of it, or she knows the kids ain't coming back but doesn't know any details. Who knows? We will get to that.
The wrong question here, just given the sensitive matter of it. How did and you don't have to, you can just say, no, I'm not going to answer that, and that's totally fine. What ensued with the whole, and this is why I wish I had came back on when Logan was here. What started the whole argument between the family members?
That I'm definitely not going to touch on.
Yeah. So anything personal, the accusations, the whatever, she I expected that, but let's see what else she's gonna say.
That's fine.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I think that when Logan
You see, I cannot do what he does. I cannot just. But I guess that's why he gotten to be a part of this channel, because he knows when to talk and when not to talk. Like, I would have asked it in a different way, or a follow-up question, but again, I'm not the one interviewing them. My channel is not the one that they are volunteering to be on.
was here in the previous chat, Jeremy, Logan had said, and she clarified that because there was a lot of rumor around that the big, huge fight
She
that
loves
broke out
rumors.
was between Daniel and Malehya. And Logan said it absolutely was not. It was
No.
between family members.
No, yeah, okay, so it was not between Malaya and Daniel. She said, Logan said it, and now Cheryl said no. Yes, I mean, she confirms it. That was not between them. And I do think that Daniel was probably very, he wanted Malaya to stay. He was probably on his best behavior. But the family members, that's a different story.
Okay. And once again, you can say I'm not going to answer
Good,
that question.
another one.
Daniel said that he did take the polygraph test. Did Malaya end up taking a polygraph?
I'm still not gonna comment on that.
Daniel told us Malaya took one. So she is very preemptive, just like Chris Proudfoot, in some instances where she basically doesn't want to put herself into the position where she will have to answer the question, well, how did Malaya do? Silence. Oh, God. I can't stand it because that moderator has no clue what to ask. She is so clueless. Her brain is completely blank. She's only happy to have Logan on, and she wants Malaya and Daniel on. And that's going to be her claim to fame. And she, but again, we have already the CBC, we already have the regulated media in Canada, right? He can go on there and talk his nonsense, but they're probably tired of him. They're probably saying, we don't want any more Daniel until we get something about the kids. There has to be some sort of news or a new development for them to say, okay, let's get that idiot back on, because he loves to talk. He ain't gonna say no, and Malaya ain't gonna say nothing, right? So they're gonna get Daniel on, and who knows? Maybe Logan will be with him next time. Maybe she'll say, listen, I'm a little bit smarter than you, and I need to be there with you to make sure that you don't say the wrong thing again, because otherwise I'll have to do damage control.
So
is there anything that Malaya needs right now?
That's a nice question, because now she that's a really good question, actually, on many different levels. This is a good one.
I think she's okay. We're trying our best just to hold everything together for her.
We are trying. So she's a big part of it. For what?
Her and be there for her, given
Oh, nothing about the children.
all the animosity and
That's the Chris Proudfoot type of answer. When Chris Proudfoot was asked, how are you holding up? And of course, the journalist was referring to Sebastian still being missing. And Katie had to interrupt him and say, oh, by the way, my son is still missing, because Chris only talked about animosity and negativity from people online. Wow. Let's see when the children pop up.
all the public speculation.
Speculation again. Malaya has a lot to hide, and she knows it. Her friend knows it. She knows about it. She knows at least enough to where she gets the idea.
Everybody's entitled to their
own opinion, of course. Textbook. Chris Watts, Christopher Proudfoot, always being dismissive, putting everything under the umbrella of a speculation and an opinion in a dismissive way. Meaning that whenever I get it right about Malehya, I must be speculating. I must have an opinion which can include a baseless opinion. That is exactly because she is unable to tell me and unwilling where the public might be wrong and where the public might be right. I want the real questions to come, not these speculations.
opinion, I guess, but
I guess.
yeah, she sees.
See, all of this language is done for a purpose. And the first thing she needs to do is to dismiss everything as nothing. So she's
what people write, and of course, it's
okay. She sees what people write. And what does it have to do with the kids? Is she out there looking for the children? She has time to look at what people write. That's interesting, right? She becomes concerned because she wants to know what people actually know if they're getting close. But she's not the type that'll go in there and argue with people like Daniel. But she will talk about, she's the type of person that's probably better one-on-one and in a smaller group, but Daniel is the one that just talks to everybody, right? He just throws himself out there from day one, man. Looking back, it's just insane how he just his fake crying, getting in front of the camera. He's confident with a lot of people around him, but one-on-one, I think Daniel is a stutterer. And stuttering, not in the term of but he starts to slow down, he starts to get confused, he probably he's not good one-on-one. Malehya is the type that has these close friends, maybe not many friends, but the ones she has are probably really close, and that's whom she tells about what's going on. She is not a fighter at all, period. And I believe that's also what the life situation was for them up in the trailer, where she was kind of resigned to herself. People said she was not communicating much with other women, and she just didn't have much to say because she didn't want to put up a show and do and pretend that things were great. She's not that type of person. She just kind of withdraws and maybe confides into the few people whom she trusts, and Cheryl is obviously one of them. And that leads me to believe that she entrusted her with some information that the public simply doesn't have, and she doesn't want the public to have. And of course, it's
gonna affect her, but she most certainly would not hurt her kids in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, that's what you're getting at right now. And interestingly, she says she would not. And that, my friends, is not reliable. I want you to tell me that she did not hurt her children. And I want to know if she knows who did. So this is an interesting way to word it. In any way, shape. By the way, whenever people say in any way, shape, or form, that's also unnecessary. And you see that a lot in, when people who are not very skilled, or politicians, when they're maybe too, when they, of course, when public speakers are, they often use certain type of language in speaking, in speeches, like spokespersons, that they wouldn't use themselves, but they use it because these are popular terms that people sort of relate to or use themselves, and they want to appeal to a certain type of crowd. But in her case, this is an unnecessary thing to say. She would not hurt her kids in any way, shape, or form. But did she? Did she allow somebody to hurt her children? Was she there when somebody allowed to hurt her children? These are the questions that I have. This is what we need to know more about, people. And this is not reliable. And she is the one introducing. She's going straight to the hurt part, straight to the subject matter. If you didn't, and you don't know what happened to the kids, then your only concern should be right now where the children are. What does Malehya need? Oh, she needs help searching. That would be a great answer, but no. This is damage control, Cheryl. She is there to do damage control. Very simple. Most definitely. Got it. She. What about Daniel? Did he hurt at least one of the kids? And was she there? Flowery language in any way, shape, or form. You're not a political speechwriter, dude.
Can I give you some advice to give to Malaya?
Yep.
Oh, she has advice. Wow. That's rich.
Yes.
Tell her to lock her Facebook that people can't be taking pictures of.
Oh, you idiot. Oh, you idiot. Hindering a criminal investigation. Trying to befriend her to get her come onto her show. So people pay subscription fee. We want her to share pictures. We want to see, is she going to appeal for her children again? Is she going to plead to a potential abductor? That's what we want to see. Not hiding. We don't need her to hide anymore. She's been doing that. And what is her Facebook going to reveal, anyways? I wonder how this dude can stand being around that, but he's probably happy to be a part of it. Better than nothing, right? So, these are persons of interest, and you're protecting them. And you want the exclusive. And say, oh, some weasel is going to take, going to record our private subscription only. What difference does it make? Anybody can pay. So police needs to pay to get information. Law enforcement needs to pay. Criminal analysts. Where do they do? Who's listening to these people? I skipped. I couldn't take it anymore until I heard he's coming on. Some guy is coming on, and I thought about him because he was only the light. He was the only light in a long dark tunnel when Logan was on live first. So I hope that these yammerers are going to let him speak a little bit more. But they probably tell him, no, no, no. They're probably belligerent with him. Like, no, 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 you can't say this. You can't. We need to keep them on. We need to keep them going. And yeah, of course, there's a certain, that's journalism, unfortunately, right? But anyways, you need to ask the right question. Don't push anybody into the corner. We don't want that in statement analysis. We want open-ended questions, and we want the free flow. We want them to tell us what they want to tell us and tell it how they are able to tell us. And then we can analyze. But still, you need the right types of questions. That's why I sent a couple of questions to Crime and Shame. I want to ask Belinda a couple of questions. And I don't know if these are the questions Belinda supposedly was on there earlier. And so I'm going to get to that and see if she asked Belinda about What else she observed in the trailer, if anything? Not just that it was messy, but how exactly was it messy? What, if anything, stood out to her?
Yes, I will do that.
So
She's pretending to care about Malaya just like Logan does. That's what they all do. To get her out of her shell. To make her feel like she can now come on the show.
what was I going to say? I had something in my head. It's gone.
Of course. There was nothing in your head. Not a thing. They must have been stammering for 20 minutes, man. Until this guy finally came on. She's completely lost without him. Because that was probably the reason that the channel got some kind of traction, because he was able to fill in the blanks, the many blanks, the mind blanks. Let's hope he's gonna say something good. Come on, Jeremy.
I don't think it matters why she left her vehicle. Maybe she was too distraught to drive.
That's absolutely what it was.
That's absolutely what it was. So why didn't you tell us in the beginning? Why didn't you, when Logan talked about the vehicle she was supposed to? No, that's not what it was. Remember when Katie Proudfoot said 6 a.m.? That's when Sebastian wasn't there. That's when. What it was. No, there was something else. That was part of it. But there was more to it. When she says that's what it was, that is a very final thing. Don't think about anything else. Okay, yes, I agree. That's what it was. Well, why didn't you tell us?
I didn't want to touch on that because I really didn't feel.
I didn't want to touch it because she feels the need to explain it.
Feel that it was relevant and
It was very relevant. It's very relevant for you to, when Logan makes certain claims, accusations, then you should say, well, what would you do if your children are missing? Would you be safe to drive? Would you feel safe to drive when you're completely no? Because she, I believe, knows what happened to the children, and she knows the exact state of mind that Malaya was in. And that state of mind included zero worry for the children because she knew what happened. So now she is playing that game. Oh, yeah, that's a good excuse because she was, yeah, right, her children were missing. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
any way, shape, or form.
Any way, shape, or form. You see, again, when a politician says any way, shape, or form, he's appealing to stupid people. When people like her are saying that, that's their way of adding something unnecessary because they're trying to make this sound more relevant. Let's hear it.
Is she returning home? I don't think that's. It doesn't matter whether she's returning home or not, honestly.
What?
That's up to her.
Okay, so
Her returning home? Daniel's home is not her home anymore. Why would she go back there?
So Greensleeves asks,
Who said that, Cheryl?
Malaya thinks the children are in the woods?
Returning home, I don't think that's. It doesn't matter whether she. Returning home, I don't think that's.
Oh.
It doesn't matter.
I want to touch on that because I really didn't feel that it was relevant in any way, shape, or form.
Is she returning home? I don't think that's.
No, different.
It doesn't matter whether she's returning home or not, honestly. That's up to her.
Okay, so Greensleeves asks, Do you know if Malaya thinks the children are in the?
So I guess whoever did this only has a screenshot here, so we cannot. I don't know how many people are on there, right? Because nothing is moving when he's speaking. I don't see.
Woods.
Again, I'm not going to speculate on what she thinks.
Do you know if Malaya thinks the children are in the woods?
So that's a question that came from somebody else. And actually, it's not a bad question to ask her directly because Daniel actually said, well, he knew the children are not in the woods. He knew that from day one, in my opinion. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty. He knew that from day. I hate to say that stuff. He knew that from day one, but now, of course, he's saying Malaya tricked him into believing they were in the woods. So this is actually not bad timing to insert such a simple question.
Again, I'm not going to speculate on what she thinks.
And by the way, is she currently sitting with Malaya? Is she, well, if not, she's on Messenger probably with her at the same time. I don't know. Is she sitting with Malaya right now? I would like to know. Where is Malaya right now? Is she near you?
We're just hoping for the best.
We. Not she is hoping for the best. We are hoping for the best because you two are now unity. And that is not expected in a question about where the children are, because she, as a biological mother, would be the one expected to have this high hormonal, uh, this consistent adrenaline mixed with incredible fear for her children if she didn't know what happened to them, what they might be going through right now. And there would not be a need for her to say, why is she saying we're asking about Malaya. We don't care about you because you are not biologically related to Jack and Lily. But they have hope together for something. And again, she said in the beginning, it's about the speculations, the opinions, people online. Malaya isn't looking for the children, but she has time to scroll around and see what people are saying about her. Right?
Okay. And I'll just clarify for you, same thing when I was talking to Logan. Any of my questions regarding Malaya, and you're here because you know Malaya. That's how you introduced yourself, right?
Yes, we know.
So any questions regarding Malaya, my questions are going to be based only and solely on conversations you have had with Malaya.
Right.
So I'm not asking you what you think she thinks.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes that clear.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So like if you had a conversation with Malaya as to where she thinks these kids possibly.
So she's making it very easy for her now. A little bit too easy. And, I do believe in being nice to the people that you interview, absolutely. But you don't want to answer for them. And you also don't want to give them an out or an oot all of the time, where it's becoming too easy to say, well, Malaya, I didn't talk with Malaya. Okay, wait. No. This one I had no conversation about, so I'm not going to answer this one. That's not what we want. We want her to tell us that in her own language, because when she does, that's when she will give herself away and indicate that it was talked about. So you don't want to make it too easy for them to say, this is a little bit too much, way too much.
because she's the mom.
Mm-hmm.
Moms have bonds with children, right? So
Really?
what Malehya thinks is actually really much more valid than almost anybody else. And I'm not saying that what she thinks it would be.
What Malehya knows, that's what's valid. We want to know, what does Malehya actually know?
Absolutely true, because we don't know. But because she has a bond with these children, and I'm speaking as a mom here, moms can often be much more, what their feelings are much more valid than anybody else. So I was just wondering if you would have that conversation with her.
And look how quiet Cheryl is. This is not a conversation at all. She is not a good liar. That's why she prefers to withdraw. She is just silent, and these silences are awkward. Even when that moderator has nothing. It would be more expected for a friend of Malehya who doesn't have an idea what happened, who is worried for her. There is zero worry for the children. Otherwise, this woman wouldn't be able to be quiet. Logan, Cheryl, they have absolutely zero concern for the kids because they know more than the public knows. Remember Grandma Belinda? Oh my God, they must be so cold. Immediate reaction. There is zero worry here what they're going through. Of course, Belinda now believes somebody hurt her. And she asked Malehya straight up, do you think Daniel may have hurt the kids? Right? I think I remember this correctly. I need to look at that again.
Yes, we definitely have talked about it. But again, I don't want to touch on anything that has to do with her personally right now.
Then what the hell are you on the show for? Her personally is exactly what we want to know more about. And it's very personal that the kids are missing. What can we talk about here?
Okay, I'm just reading chat.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing.
Because she is stuck. She has her brain is blank, the moderator. And Cheryl is looking for something that she can get into. And again, she's in damage control mode. So, she's playing her role.
I do have to run though, Susan. I've got to.
Yeah, I would too, man. I would have run out of there very quickly, no matter what my intentions were. I would have been like, look. And Jeremy, why are you quiet?
Head into work, but
Missed opportunities to ask good, non-offensive questions and see how she answers them.
but like
No
I
problem.
said, I appreciate you letting me join
And
the
sadly, Susan is happy because she's got nothing left.
live, and I will.
And that's what happens when you believe somebody's lies, like Logan. When you just fall for anything and they want to sidetrack you and then lead you into a space where it's dead end, right? When you follow the truth, there will never be an end in questions that will pop into your mind until the moment that you find out exactly what happened. And these pauses are also notable, that they are completely stuck because they are on a one-way street, a dead-end street. It's not leading anywhere.
Pass along everything that anybody has said for Malehya, and I know
Okay.
she appreciates all the support and all the good comments and all the prayers and
All the good comments. Again, I don't care about the comments. If your children are missing, you don't care about. Yes, you may read the comments and they may soothe you here and there, but where are the kids?
Thoughts that everybody has sent to her.
Everybody? No, no.
I think that Cody Sullivan's mom has done an enormous amount for Malehya because she is the only one. She is the only one who has come out publicly and spoken about Malehya in any way, shape, or form, one way or the other. And what she happens to say is actually extremely positive about Malehya.
This is all filler language, you know what I mean? Any way, shape, or form. If you have some real important things to say, you keep it narrow, you keep it compact, and you get certain thoughts and facts out there. So this flowery type of language is always a turnoff for me. When I see it, I pass by a message. Like if I get an email or message, I feel like I need people who get straight to the point. Then I know that it is, based on thoughts and not concerns how somebody sounds, how you sound, and you're not thinking about the audience. You're thinking about only the facts, and the facts are exactly what we need here.
Yeah, and it's wonderful. Her testimony is, and that is what it is. It's a testimony on who Malehya is, and it's absolutely a wonderful thing that she has said.
No, who Malehya used to be. Don't twist Belinda's words here, because she said, I don't know what changed it. She used to be a great mother, and I don't know what changed it. She's talking about how wonderful Malehya used to be as a mother. Not since she moved in with Daniel and stopped visiting her.
Yes, and everything that she has said is 100% true. I was telling Karen, I've known
100% sure. That would include that she stopped being a good mom to Jack and Lily.
Malehya for years, and
it would also include possibly failure to protect her kids or being negligent, highly negligent, neglectful.
Lily and Jack were taken care of so well, and she did everything and anything with them. She was so patient with them. She was very soft spoken.
Yeah, but how did things change when it was meadow, meadow, meadow? How did things change later? And how was Daniel with them? That's what we want to know.
They were always clean. She lived in a nice environment.
That must have been long before then. Then you would have known Jack and Lily from before they moved in with Daniel, right? Because so far I haven't heard anybody say that where they lived up there, especially Belinda, she called it anything but a nice environment. But that's her telling us something. Wait up.
So everything that Belinda touched on is 100% the truth.
Before she moved in with Daniel, and that's what we want to know more about. She's talking about how when it was just Belinda, that's Malehya, the kids were clean. Some of you have said the kids had dirty fingernails. I haven't looked at these things specifically, but Belinda told us how horrified she was. She said it in a different way, in a nicer way. How surprised she was, and that was not the Malehya that she knew. She knew Malehya as somebody who took care of the kids, and everything was clean. As she was horrified what she saw in the trailer, and she talked about, I don't know what changed. So we want to know how things were up there in the trailer. How was Malehya with the kids when she was with Daniel? How was Daniel with them? Did Malaya stop Daniel if he wanted to discipline them? These are the types of, why was CPS called? So she's going way back there and only doing damage control for Malaya, but adding nothing to what we need answer wise about what happened in the weeks, months before the kids wound up missing. What led up to it? That's what we want to know. We don't care that Malaya used to be once upon a time a good mother. And yes, she would have been maybe a good mother if she had a different partner, or if if it was just her with the kids, just her. That she was not the creator of the problems, which is why CPS sides with her, obviously, right? To a degree. But Malaya still feels the need to protect her children from CPS. Interesting, right? Did she protect her children from Daniel? That's what I want to know about.
Okay. All right. Did you?
Oh God, I knew people who were like this on the phone, like dead air, nothing to say. Just I can't hang, man.
You ever, just out of curiosity, did you ever visit Malaya and Daniel when they were living in the
Good.
trailer, or visit Malaya and Daniel at any point?
Good.
No, not since she.
So you don't know shit. Exactly, my point exactly. Thank you, Susan. There's a good one. There's a good follow-up. What time frame are you talking about here? How great Malaya was with the kids and how clean she was. Definitely not the time she was with Daniel, because that's when it went all to shits. It went downhill. No. So she went back all the way before she lived with Daniel. She wasn't there. She has no idea.
Got with him.
Okay. Did you?
Since she got with him. So even before they moved in together, was she so consumed, Malaya, with Daniel, that did he not want her to see her any of her friends? Did he want to isolate? Yeah, he wanted to isolate her. I believe that.
Text each other back and forth? Did you talk?
And he talked about, oh, she needs to have contact with her mother. I always said, Well, she didn't, right? I mean, when was the last time Cindy, right? Cindy, no, not Cindy. Well, yeah, I think whatever Malaya's mother's name is, was she with her mother? When was the last time she had seen her own mother? I would like to know that as well, to get an idea here. Did you text each other back and forth? Did you talk?
On the phone?
No.
So the whole time she was with Daniel, one of her best friends, she completely shut everybody out. Isn't that interesting? And we know already that Daniel didn't want her to visit Belinda because Cody might be there. I think Daniel was extremely jealous and didn't want her to have freedom away from him, didn't want her to have her own mind, wanted to keep her under his control. And this is something that she is avoiding now to get more into on her own. Because why? Because then the questions will come up. Questions about how things were in the house. And that's where she doesn't want to go. So that's why she didn't volunteer any of this information.
Okay, so, and how long has she been with Daniel?
2 years, I believe.
Okay, so you were out of contact with.
Wasn't it longer than that? They've been together for almost 3, right? Or 3 years. So this is also to be noted, that she wants to minimize the amount of time because she can tell where this is going right now. I guess there was a highlight at the end.
Malehya for 2 years then?
Everybody was, yeah.
Nobody said she's not.
Oh, everybody was. Listen, we're talking about you, but she volunteers everybody.
Okay, so, and how long has she been with Daniel?
2 years, I believe.
Okay, so you were out of contact with Malehya for 2 years then?
Everybody was, yeah.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. And there we have it. Everybody was not in contact. So why does she want to say everybody was? Why does she volunteer it? Because it soothes her to know that she was not the only one. So it was nothing personal against her. I'm still her best friend. But Cheryl knows a lot that she doesn't want to tell us. And a lot of what is probably really essential in this case. So when she talks about Malehya as a character witness, so to speak, guess what, people? She has zero idea what went on. But the fact when a woman completely abandons everybody, all her friends, family, everybody, and the neighbor says she stays to herself, she's not communicating with anybody. It was only Daniel for her. Daniel had complete control over her in that house.
Nobody said she's not cooperating with the police.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
What the hell are you talking about?
No?
Okay, so, and how long has she been with Daniel?
2 years, I believe.
Okay, so you were out of contact with Malehya for 2 years then?
Everybody was, yeah.
Nobody said she's not cooperating with the police.
Okay. Okay.
Stupid comment. She's not cooperating with. She's not telling when people say, "Oh, I'm cooperating fully with police," my question is immediately, why do you feel a need to say that? And what is cooperating? There's a huge spectrum here when you talk about cooperation. It doesn't mean you're telling them everything you know. They always say, my client has been cooperating from day one. Yeah, cooperating, but feeding them a bunch of BS and leaving out important information. If you are the mother of a missing child, would you tell the media I am cooperating with police? No, the police is here to serve you and find your missing children for you. If you say I am cooperating with police, that already tells me you have something to hide. You wouldn't feel a need to say that. You would put it all on the cops. They're not doing enough. They should be out there right now. They don't have anything. Please help us, public, please. Kidnapper, anybody. It would be only about that, not I am cooperating. What does that mean if you don't have the answers? If you don't have any answers and you need help, you're not going to talk about you're cooperating with police. You will say, I'm an open book. Look at everything. Please. And find my children. That's the only priority here. You wouldn't talk about I am cooperating. That's almost like an alibi. And don't give her an alibi.
And then you rekindled your friendship, I guess, after this happened.
Yes.
Did you meet Daniel when you were down at the search?
Yes.
Later Friday night.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Friday. So Friday morning they were reported missing. The kids were reported missing. And then later Friday night, she met Daniel. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Where's the follow-up?
we didn't speak or anything. It was kind of just a hi and a bye, basically.
I believe you.
Okay. Perfect.
Perfect.
Well, anyway, you said you had to go. I don't want to hold you up.
Yes.
But do extend that invitation to Malehya if she would like it,
That's what she wants, Malehya on there.
and yourself, right? That if
Absolutely will.
if she would like to come into a private, controlled chat setting,
It's not private, it's not controlled. Unless you do it with each other on a where Skype is gone, on a WhatsApp call or on a private chat, you idiot. People will all you have to do is pay whatever you want to pay to get access to it. So this is very misleading, of course. Anybody can pay, go on there, and people will. Not just one so-called Weezer. A lot of people will do it. I would do it. Because this is a criminal case. And you're not supposed to control the witnesses.
Yes.
I will set it up.
Okay. I'll let her know.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Susan.
Thank you, Cheryl.
You're welcome.
All right. So randomly I clicked on a couple of things in the middle that I missed. And I don't think I missed a lot, but
What she said was stunning, and it brought a tear to my eyes. So
sure.
it was nice.
Malehya's concern is not blasting herself all over social media
But she is busy reading it.
and the news. Her main concern right now is finding Lily and Jack.
It should be her only concern.
I agree. But it was so.
Well, I cannot listen to this woman anymore. And thank you guys for watching. I'm Mike the Man. I'll see you next time.